Curious about what items you should have on hand for your maternity and newborn photography sessions? Well, stick around because in today's episode, I'm gonna walk you through my must-haves that I keep on hand in my photo session cart to help you along the way. If you don't know me, my name is Michelle Brewster and I'm the owner of the Swaddle Pro and the Profitable Studio. I love helping maternity and newborn photographers just take charge of their business by bringing you guys the business and marketing tools to have a long-term successful studio. So be sure to subscribe. So here we are in my photographing room, and this is my handy dandy photo session cart. I love this thing. This is one of my must-haves. So I got this particular cart at Joann Fabric. I love it because it has 3 different shelves. It's right on wheels, super easy to maneuver around, keeps everything really organized. I've seen the same ones on Amazon, Walmart, a whole bunch of places have them, but I highly recommend this. However, what's in this cart is absolutely my must-haves for every single maternity and newborn session. So I'm gonna start at the top and work my way down. So I like to keep all different kinds of sizes for clips handy. So these particular ones are really great for any clips that I need on my beanbag that you can see here behind me, or my backdrop system or anything like that. These next clips you have to have if you do a lot of wrapping with newborns. These little clips came off of curtain hangers. So the curtain rings that go over the rod have these little clips to hold the curtains on them. You take off the ring and you use these little clips to be able to hold on your wraps on the babies so that they're nice and tight and snug and they're in the exact position that you want them. They are really high up on my must-have list. So I keep a whole bunch of them here because they're tiny. You don't see them, they don't bother the baby, they're perfect. These next clips I use a lot when I have to customize the sizes of my maternity gowns. So as we know, it's never one size fits all. Everybody's shaped differently. So we always have to kind of nip and tuck things, whether it's in Photoshop or on the actual prop and the dress. So these and this next size that I have here are both really great for making clothing fit perfectly. Then, of course, these days, plenty of hand sanitizer. So even before COVID, we had hand sanitizer, but now I keep it everywhere. I also always keep Gorilla Tape. Gorilla Tape is one of those items that I use on a daily basis here in my studio. A lot of the times I'm using fabric backdrops with like the wood texture so that it also cascades from the floor all the way up the wall to have one seamless look. However, the fabric wrinkles like crazy, and when kiddos move around, especially if it's sibling pictures with a toddler, it drives me nuts with how much Photoshop you have to do. So Gorilla Tape is a fantastic tape to hold the fabric onto the floor nice and tight. This definitely high on my list. From here, I always keep batteries in case my radio slave for my strobe goes dead. I want to have everything on hand right away to be able to move on without even having to think about finding items. Same with a fully charged camera battery. I don't know how many times I have had to go looking and be like, oh no, I don't even have a single one that's charged and ready to go. So now in my cart, I always keep one fully charged camera battery right on the top. Then, last item on the top is I keep my CF cards. I keep them handy so that I can always reach over and grab more. Now, one thing that I do here at my studio, and I challenge you to do as well, is get CF cards that aren't gigantic sizes, because it's gonna force you to not take a ton of pictures during your sessions. You wanna try and get it right in camera. You wanna try and just not have to edit all day long, right? So if you stick with a 4 GB CF card, then you're kind of forced to stick within those limitations and you're going to be more careful about the photographs that you take. So that's my other must-have on this. Second shelf down here are all of my different fabrics that I use for posing and getting babies into the perfect positions, whether they're on a beanbag or on a prop. So I use This is cotton natural batting that I got from Joann Fabric. I specifically use this to create the roundness around babies when I'm wrapping them. So a lot of the times, especially if they're older babies or if they're like premature and they're really, really skinny, you kind of need something to bulk them up a bit to give them that round shape for the different pictures. This natural cotton batting is really easy to use, super cheap, Joann Fabric, and it really creates that nice round shape to it. So this I highly recommend. From here, a lot of the times instead of using posing beans or getting any additional kind of props that I have to spend a lot of money on, I will just simply use fabric to be able to shape in whatever poser I need it to be. So if I need it to be, under an arm to be able to do the hands on the chin, I like fabric because I can make it into whatever shape I want rather than being stuck with the little rounder or moon kind of shaped poser to get them into the positions. I want to be able to do whatever I want to do when I need to do it according to what the baby's body is really allowing me to do, so I can make this into any shape that I want to. So I typically keep a bunch of neutral toned. I don't like to keep a lot of like really bright fabrics because if I have a sheerer backdrop like this particular one, you can kind of see through a bit. You would see the colors underneath it. So a lot of the times disposable cloth diaper linings will work really well. If you have some stretchy just fabric laying around that's a nude tone or skin tone color, then you can definitely use this as well. Really just grab even a simple face cloth that's neutral color tone and you can roll that up and shape it into whatever you'd like. So then next shelf down are my posers. Now these are really important. So my very first, of course, is going to be the Swaddle Pro. The Swaddle Pro helps me just completely cut my session times in half. I can fly through newborn sessions all because of this wonderful, wonderful product. So this is what's going to keep babies sound asleep and allow you to do every single wrap technique that you can imagine without disturbing them, without waking them up, keeping them sound asleep, helping safely pose with siblings, you name it. So this is definitely my must-have. Now, here's a little hack for everybody that loves doing the upright potato wrap, but isn't really great at balancing babies that well. So if you go, again, to Joann Fabric, you will find these rings. These are styrofoam rings, the hard styrofoam, that people use to make wreaths. So all I do, they were probably, I don't even think they were really $1. They were really cheap, is I stack them on top of each other, just like so. And then I put them on the beanbag. Let's see if I can show you here. Put them on the beanbag. Or I should say I put it under the fabric on the beanbag, just like so. And then you can see the baby can go right in the middle of it, keeping them stable, giving them some support around, and it works so well that I very rarely even need to have parents help and assist with this pose anymore. So this is just my little hack, super cheap, super easy to find, and it's fantastic for the upright potato. Then the other poser that I keep on hand is from Modest Little Me. This is the Freeform. So this is what I use for all of my bucket poses and any of my like wooden bucket props or anything that the baby is going to be inside of that's kind of that round shape. So I love it because it is super duper soft, nice and cozy for the baby, but completely moldable because of all of the metal that goes around the bendable like wire insert, so that you can really shape it so that if they're in the bucket and you're doing the hands over the chin, this comes just nicely over the edge of the bucket so that you don't have to keep stuffing all this fabric in and having it not hold the baby in the right position. This is fantastic for that. But we all know babies soil things like crazy, so I highly recommend getting their waterproof cover for this bad boy. Now, it also comes with this bean to be able to put in the bottom of your buckets to give them a little boost under their tush. This is great for not only the bucket poses, but you can absolutely use it for the Huck Finn pose where you have to have their feet and their bum up kind of elevated in the back, or hands under the chin or anything like that. And it's got some good weight to it. So you can definitely use it to keep some of your props more stable as well. So these have been my must-have items that I use on a daily basis for the past 15 years doing this full time, that I know I just reach in. Everything that I have to have in order to have an amazingly successful session is right here. So now it's your turn. I hope this helped. Go get yourself a cart, go fill it up with all of these goodies, and I hope you have an awesome next session.